Hi guys, this is India J and you are watching another episode of Progressing with India J. If you are new here, please subscribe so that I know that somebody has watched the video and somebody has found their way and stumbled on this little old video by little old me. And also, don't forget to turn on your post notifications so that you can simply just be notified when I post again. If you are continuing to watch this video, you know from the title that we are going to be talking about depression today. Yes, I know it's not the most warming and the most exciting topic to talk about, but for the past few weeks and the past few months of my life, people have been under the impression that I haven't been through much and a lot of stuff I'm not even aware of, and I don't look like I've been through anything. But that's the point of me, having my channel and making these videos, because people always see you for what's on the outside and never get a chance to see what's on the inside, because a lot of people mask it and don't share it. They just make the outside look pretty so you think the inside is pretty too, and a lot of times that's not even the case. So with that being said, guys, without further ado, let's get into the video. So a little bit about my experience with depression. For me, and I say for me because I know people have their own experiences, their own feelings, their own definitions and all that great stuff, and it's valid, but I'm just sharing from my point of view. So my opinion on depression, for me, the definition of depression was and is the fact of being in a state of mind where you have went through or experienced and felt a moment where you felt like it's hard to explain. For me, when I went through depression, I felt like it was the end of the world. The bottom fell out. I couldn't go anywhere. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. It was a moment where your mind is stuck in a never-ending loop on whatever that moment started or whatever that experience started. It never stops. It just continues to loop back, and every day it's a continuous loop of being sad, being mad, being unhappy, if that makes sense, without using the word depressed. So you just continue every day to relive that moment, that time, that feeling, that emotion back, that event back to back to back, every day. And you just sit in it and you just continue to feed yourself with that thought and understanding and that mind frame. And so what happens is, not only do you stay in that loop of thinking those things, but then you also get to a point where you start to allow the door to be open for the enemy to use that to get you to a place where you start isolating yourself from people, and you start doubting yourself and doubting other people, and not believing the truth about yourself anymore. You started, at one point you may have thought that you were a great person, you were good, you were kind, you were loving, and this, that, and the third. But when depression hits, you think all of the opposite, and it sticks. No matter what other people tell you, you stay in that feeling, you stay in that emotion, you stay in that point in time and that experience, and you do not let it go. That's what battling with depression is. Like, you are staying in a mindset of feeling and knowing and thinking that this is the end for you, and life sucks and your experience sucked, and you feel bad, and you don't, like, it's one of those things where you have a bad dream and you're like, when I wake up it's going to be over. But when you're battling with depression, you wake up and it's still there. Until you heal from that, or until you get to a point of being delivered from that, being depressed, every day that you wake up, every day that you go to sleep and you wake up with the same thought process, on the same time loop of whenever that situation or that feeling came into place. So people are like, well, I don't understand. Well, you could just tell that person, they're good, they're great, and, do things for them, and then they'll come out. Like, that's not how that works. Like, battling depression is a conscious, everyday effort to refeed and think and reimagine the same thing that happened to you, whether it was 4 years ago, whether it was 2 days ago. Like, that very moment keeps replaying in your mind, keeps replaying in your heart, keeps replaying in your spirit. And so where that person used to be happy and joyous and someone who felt like they were at a point where they were okay and they were good with things, now this person no longer wants to wake up. This person no longer wants to eat sometimes, no longer wants to have anything that reminds them of being happy, being good, being positive, or anything that is the opposite of being sad, being upset, being angry, and making them feel like they're a victim. Makes someone that is going through depression feel good. Like nothing. Like, it doesn't matter what you say, what you do, what you share, what you give to that person that is going through depression, until they make that conscious effort in their mind to start shifting their perception in their mind about that event at that very moment in time in their life. They continue to live that for as long as they can, because they feel like as long as they hold that situation and that feeling, that they are winning over that situation and that feeling or that moment in time. Like, so if for me it was the fact that I miscarried my child, so I kept reliving that every day. Like, so every time I talked to someone, or every time I did something, it was about me losing my child. So whether I physically said it to them or I physically showed up like I lost my child, it was everything that I did. I made sure I reminded myself that I lost a child, and I made sure that I let myself know that you're a bad person and you're not worthy and you don't have value and this, that. Like, literally, you have to, like, when you're depressed, like, you feed yourself all of that. And it doesn't help that the enemy plays on that. So then he shows you other things to think and other things to do. And, and you open the door for that because that's what you're already believing. He just helps you out. Like, he just pushes you right on over there to the edge. You already on the edge, but he pushes you right over the end. Like, and it's just one of those things where when you make it up in your mind, it is hard to break it. Like, when you make it up in your heart and your spirit and your being, that you are upset, you are mad, you are angry, you are hurt, you are in pain, and you are a victim, and you keep living that every day, that is battling depression. And I don't want to go over, how you get through that today. I just want to talk about being in that moment in time. Like, when I was battling with depression, for me, I was isolating myself from people. Like, the people who were probably trying to help me at that point, or probably, you know, just wanted to be there for me or support me, or just be a person of reason, or be an ear, or be someone that, you know, shed positivity into the situation, or light into the situation, I would not allow it. Like, I don't care if you told me, you know, maybe if you open the blinds, you might get some light in here. I'm like, I want them closed. I was trying to sit in the dark. Thank you. Close my blinds back. Close my window back. I don't want no air in here. I don't want no light. Like, and it sounds crazy from the outside looking in, but that's literally where you are. It's a mental thing. Like, once you make it up, and that's why people are always like, well, the devil is here to kill, steal, and destroy, and he did this, he did that. But a lot of times, you give him all that he needs to get to that point. Like, because you will literally, like, feed yourself with things that are not true, and feed yourself with things that make you stay in that moment when, like, it's a conscious thing to continue to do that every day of your life and make it a loophole to keep doing. Like, it's a cycle and a loophole that is like on repeat every day. I'm sad. I'm hurt. I'm in pain. I don't want to feel good. Like, get away with that happiness stuff. And I'm saying this not to be, you know, to criticize how people, you know, go through things in life, or criticize, you know, what you've been through, because this is my story. This is my life. Like, this is things that I went through. So I know exactly what I trust and believe. I am never wanting to, you know, play on somebody's downfall or kick somebody when they're down. Because I know how it feels to be kicked when you're down. Like, that's what the enemy does already. When you down, he kick you an extra step. Like, where is it? Like, I was okay yesterday, but he kicked me and gave me the extra push that I needed to, you know, I'm depressed again. Like, it's one of those things where until you get to a point where you are tired of doing the same thing and being in a continuous cycle, like, it never ends. Like, you just keep living it, you just keep doing it, you just keep believing. Like, if you do something more than, I think it's 7 days, if you do something longer than 7 days or 21 days, it becomes a habit. Like, literally, it becomes a habit to continue to tell yourself mean and evil things, and to continue to, you know, accept the fact that once you've accepted it, and once you made it up in your mind that you're depressed and you're angry and you're not happy and you don't feel good and you're in pain, like, literally, that's what your mind allows you to continue to believe, and you stay in that moment. So, and again, for me, it was the loss of my child, but also I experienced a loss of family members. And, like, don't get me wrong, like, things happen for a reason, but in that point in time, you don't want to hear that. Like, you will hear anything other than it happened for a reason, or everybody had, like, I say that now, but back then, I didn't want to hear it either. Like, don't tell me that. I said, I'm mad. Let me be. Like, it's one of those things, like, when you deal with a stubborn person and you're trying to tell them something and they don't want to hear it. Like, it's literally that. Like, I don't care if you said that you're going to buy me roses tomorrow. I don't care if you said that you're going to open all the curtains in this house. Like, once you're at a point of being depressed, it is not, I'm not going to say it's hard, because it's possible to break free, and it's possible to, you know, get out of that, but it is definitely a progression, and you have to do it one step at a time, one day at a time, 1 minute, 1 hour, 1 second at a time, because once you get to that place, you have to now take yourself from being on a time loop, being on a you know, conscious cycle of allowing yourself to be in this place of darkness and not wanting any light, to have to get to a place where you're open again and ready to receive any type of light. Because for me, when I was depressed, I didn't want the curtains open. I didn't want the lights on. I didn't want to go down and get food. I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to be around people. I didn't want to hear what they had to say. I didn't, like, nothing mattered. But the fact that I could hold on to the fact that I was angry, I was hurt, I can blame myself for things, I can blame other people for things. Like, it's really one of those things that it's literally a mind thing. Because if you're not careful, after saying and doing and thinking things for so long, you begin to believe it. And once you're programmed to think something, it's kind of hard to, again, I'm not going to say hard, but it takes a while to get back to the old and get back to what you know. Like, it doesn't just happen overnight. Like, you don't just wake up and be like, nope, I'm not depressed no more. Because you programmed that to yourself. Like, you brainwashed your own self. People don't have to brainwash you to be depressed. You brainwash yourself. Not coming again, not saying, people don't add to it, but it starts with you first. It starts with your mind first. And then it works its way down into your heart. And then now you're cold-hearted and you don't feel good and you don't trust people and this, that, and the third. Like, it's real. And then you don't even want to share with people the fact that you are hurt, you are going through some things, and like, things are really happening. You don't want nobody to know. Like, excuse me, let me be mad in peace. Let me be, like, it's like that. And it's like crazy because you think about it and it's like, a lot of times depression could be ended early if you simply just knew the truth and you just simply let things go, and you don't continue to do that thing that's causing you to feel and be and understand and think that way. But I'm not making this video about how to get through it. I'm just telling you what it's like to go through it. Like, it's not something that you wake up and wish on anybody. It's not something that anybody wants to happen to them. It's not anything that in a million years you would ever think that you would experience. But when it hits like a ton of bricks. Like, you can't eat, you can't drink, you can't sleep, you can't be. Like, you're just ready for it to be over. Because, again, it's something that happens every day, every second, you can't fathom anything being better. You can't fathom a light. You can't fathom, positive things. Like, everything that you experience is negative, and it feels like it's a back-to-back chain reaction to the things that happen to you, and you're like, oh my God, like, am I gonna have to do this again tomorrow? 50 minutes from you start to lose your sanity because it becomes too much. Like, depending on how long you deal with it, it becomes too much. Like, and people are like, I don't understand how people can kill themselves and think it's this, that, and the third. But it's like, until you go through a long phase of suffering and silence, like, because the average person that goes, or for me, when I went through depression, I didn't want anybody to, judge me, so I didn't tell people. But I also showed up like I was depressed. Like, I wouldn't turn on any lights. I wouldn't, do anything that was happy. I wouldn't, text people giving them positive energy. Like, the way I was so bad to the point where, like, I was pushing everybody away. Like, my parents, my siblings, my relatives, like, my friends, my boyfriend. Like, literally, I didn't care who it was and what it was. I did not want it around me because I knew that it would make me get to a place where I wasn't ready to be. I was just not ready to be happy. I was not ready to let go. I was not ready to feel something other than what I experienced, because I wanted my feelings and my experience to be valid. I wanted somebody to feel like I felt. I wanted somebody to understand what it was that I was going through. But at the same time, I wouldn't tell anybody. So I was suffering in silence. I was going through this alone. Like, I was taking out my frustrations not on just myself, but I was taking it out on other people who probably, again, wanted to be there genuinely for me, who wanted to genuinely support me, who genuinely wanted to help, and probably had good intentions to help. But because I was in this mind that wasn't my own, now that was being taken over and taken advantage of by the enemy. And no, I'm not saying the devil took me, the devil had me, the devil, no. What I'm saying is I left the door open for the enemy to play on what was already broken and already hurt and already misguided, to help me make it worse, to help damage me further, because at that point I wasn't listening to anybody, anything. I wasn't watching anybody, anything. Like, you stay in that mind, you stay in that feeling, and you just want to continue to, like, it sounds crazy, but until you go through it, or you know somebody who goes through it, and you see how it, like, literally tears you down from the inside out, and it gets overwhelming. Because nobody wants to wake up and keep living that. Nobody wants to keep dreaming that. Like, have a bad dream. And ask me how fast you wake up. Ask me how fast you're ready for that to end so you'll wake up. But ask me how fast that happens in reality when you continue to live a bad dream. Like, it's one thing to have a bad dream and be able to open your eyes and be done. But when you're going through depression, when you open your eyes, after it happens, it keeps happening. And it doesn't stop. And you don't stop thinking, and you don't stop feeling. Like, you're not at a mental space to receive anything other than what you felt and what you know at that point in time. And it takes everything in you to try over and over again. But when you're so far gone into depression, and so far gone into silent suffering, and so far gone into believing what you made up in your mind that half the time isn't even true about whatever you're going through, or whatever you feel, or whatever, or people around you, it gets to the point where it's too much. Like, put too many rocks in a plastic bag and it busts open. Put too much water on a paper towel and watch it deteriorate. Like, literally, think about that when you think about depression. And then when somebody is going through depression, or you're going through depression, think about that. Like, it gets heavy. Like, not only when you go to sleep, but when you wake up, when you go through the next day. Like, it don't stop. And then people are like, well, why do people turn to alcohol and drugs? That doesn't help. It doesn't, but in that moment in time, you're not being logical. Like, logic has left the building when you become depressed. Happiness has lost the building. Sanity left the building. Like, all of that left the building. It don't live here no more. Like, it's gone. And so and I'm not saying this to make anybody feel bad. I'm not saying this to, make anybody feel any type of way or think any type of way about people who are depressed, because it is a real thing, and it's a real issue, and it's a real problem. Like, it's a real thing. And luckily for me, and I don't believe in luck, but good enough, I didn't have to go through it longer than most people do. And I'm thankful and I'm grateful for that. But I do have empathy for those who go through it. I do have empathy for those who don't make it. I do have empathy for those that don't ever come out. Because sometimes people go through depression not by themselves. They go through depression with somebody else and they add to it. And see, for me, it was just me by myself. But imagine people that are in relationships with depressed people. Like, if I'm depressed and you depressed, how bad it gets. Like, you feed me depression, I'm feeding you depression. Like, and people will say, I can't understand why you stay so long. Like, not only when I was depressed did I, feel like the world was at an end and all this other stuff, but also, like, excuse me, I was at a place mentally where I wasn't okay, but I didn't want to share that with anybody either, and I didn't want anybody to help me through that either, and I didn't want someone to tell me otherwise either. But also, I went through a point where I started thinking about suicide. Like, so if I'm gonna keep living basically in hell anyway, and going through bad and evil and all these things that remind me of hell anyway, like, why don't I just, like, let it go? Like, no, really, like, let it go and let me go. Like, I used to tell, and I was in a relationship at that time, and I used to tell him, like, well, how about I just not be here? Like, how about I just not do this at all? Like, how about I just not live at all? Like, what would life be like if I wasn't here? Like, it's one less person in the world. Like, literally, you get to a point where it's the lowest low. Like, the lowest view of yourself, the lowest view of people around you, the lowest feeling that you can feel. Like, literally, the lowest lows, the bottom falling out. Things just seem like they keep happening to you. Things, never ease up. Like, literally, it's so, like, y'all, it's the worst thing next to death. Like, it's close to death, because some people end up going to death, but some people end up just keep doing things to physically and emotionally and mentally harm themselves to the point where they're close. Like, for me, I had thoughts of suicide, but I don't know why, but in my case, I never, like, cut myself. I never, like, went and tried to jump off anything. I never tried to crash, or I never tried to do anything crazy, but I was mentally abusing myself. Like, I was getting to the point where, I was like, nope, I'm not eating today, I'm not eating tomorrow, blah, blah. Or I would eat just enough. Or I would, go take a shower, and that'd be all the light I get for today. Like, I was punishing myself for things that happened that I couldn't control. Like, I couldn't control the fact that I lost 2 children. Like, it wasn't for me to control. If it wasn't time for me to have children, but in my mind, it was my fault, it was his fault, it was her fault, it was God's fault. Like, whoever could get it. Like, I was, like, you become ready for war with anybody, including yourself. Like, you are just at war every day of your life. You are at, like, just never letting up on you, other people, things, life, your mind, your heart. Like, everything is just dark. And I'm gonna be honest with you, it does get better. Better days do come. Mind change shifts. Your mind shifts. Your things change. Feelings change. Like, all of that stuff happens. But it's not until you want it to happen. It's not until you're open and ready to receive it. It's not until something breaks in you or something happens to the point where you're just like, I can't keep doing this. Like, until it gets to a point where enough is enough. Like, you will, the more you allow what is not true about your situation to continue to enter in your mind and continue to stay there and enter in your heart and continue to feel that and continue to enter into your spirit, and you release that to other people and other things, like, that's the energy you're going to keep getting back, you're going to keep putting out, and it's going to be a never-ending loop, a never-ending cycle, and it's going to continue to happen every day of your life. And I want to be honest with you. When I lost my family member, I thought that, you know, and when I lost that family member, I didn't just lose them, but I went numb, like, and feeling for a second. And I was just like, you know, I kind of like this. And it's not something that I'm proud of, that I was like, you know, I kind of liked it. Like, no. In that moment in time, I kind of liked it because I wasn't feeling. Like, when my grandfather died, it was one of those things where I was just like, he died, but I'm not receiving it. Like, it's the truth, but in my mind, I'm not receiving that. And then when I found out that he was cremated, like right after his funeral, which we never even thought was going to happen, I continued to be, no, it's not happening. No, not me. No. But yes, that was my reality. And so I started to turn to drugs and alcohol. And I'm not talking about nothing crazy. I'm just talking about marijuana. But in most cases, people think that the higher you get, or if I smoke, like, and you know what? I'll make a separate video of that. But I believed in my mind that as long as I was high, as long as I was drunk, that I would never have to feel anything. I would never have to wake up and feel like hurt, broken, you know, sad, mad, angry, you know, understand that he was gone. I just kept drinking. Oh, I feel a little something, let me drink it. I feel a little something, let me smoke. Like, literally, that's where I got to a point. And I'm gonna be honest with you, it helped for maybe as long as I was drunk or high. But after I sobered up and woke up the next morning, or I sobered up and went through the next day, like, I was an addict. Like, I had to keep doing it, or else, like, I'm gonna start feeling like I can't. And you just start believing your own thoughts. And with that being said, I don't want to spend too much time on depression, guys, because I don't want anybody to be sad or whatever. But seriously, guys, if you or someone else that you know is dealing with depression, honestly speaking, and from my own experiences, better days do come. Brighter days come. New things happen. New things, you know, are appreciated. Like, literally, like, it'll take some time to break through depression. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's not gonna happen overnight. It's not gonna happen over a couple days. It might not even happen over a couple of years. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, it's going to take time. It took you time to slip into that. It's going to take you time to get out of that. And with that being said, guys, I love you. Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully something in this video touched you and makes you want to come back again. And if that's the case, subscribe and turn on your post notifications so that you are aware when I post a new video. But also drop in the comments how this video made you feel, what my story made you feel, what my story made you see, if I encouraged you, if I inspired you, if I impacted you in any way. Drop it in the comments, and I promise you I will respond to all comments as I receive them. And again, like this video, and if you know somebody that's going through these things, share it with them, so that they realize that they're not alone, because they're not. People go through depression and dark stages or valley moments all of the time. But at the end of the day, I want you to know that trouble doesn't last always. Better days come, but you just have to keep going. Keep knowing. Keep thinking. Keep progressing in the fact that my day will come. And I'm not talking about my day for dying. I'm talking about my day for happiness, my day for peace, my day where enough is going to be enough. And I'm going to take the necessary steps and take the necessary process that I need to get to a happier me, a better me, a healing me, a delivered me. And it will come. I'm a product. So I know it happens, and I know it's possible. Let me be the tangible thing that you need to see that it's possible. I'm a normal, regular person. I'm only 24. I'm not even someone with the title. I'm not a celebrity. I don't have no type of status. Like, I am a normal, regular, everyday person and still went through depression. I had a lot of things, but things don't stop you from going through depression. I had people around me. People don't stop you from going through depression. The only thing that you can do for somebody that is going through depression is be there with them every step of the way, and keep being that amazing friend that they know you can be. You got to be patient with them. It's not going to happen overnight, and they're not going to want to hear it every day, all day. Never going to probably want to even take it in. But the fact that you keep trying and being persistent as that good friend that you are, that good parent, that good relative, that good family member, that good whatever it is that you are to someone, it helps. Every little thing helps, and I promise you, whether we want to hear it or not, we still hear it. Whether we want you to tell us that or not, you still gonna talk. Like, so it's not like we can like physically push you down the stairs. It'd be like, don't get me wrong, people go to that extreme, but at the same time, you can only tell me I'm pretty so many times before I'd be like, you know what, I might be pretty. Like, or am I really? Like, so many people tell you certain things, you gonna be like, oh, you know what, I might be all right. Like, seriously, you think I'm crazy, but I'm being honest. And with that being said, I love all of you guys so much. Thank you for watching. Thank you for finishing this video all the way through. Share it with somebody. Give me a like, a comment, and subscribe, and turn on your post notifications so you are made aware of when I post again. And if you like videos like this, let me know. And if you have suggestions for other videos and other things that you want me to share, let me know. I'm willing to share it, because I mean, I ain't got nothing better else to do in a pandemic, so might as well make use of my time while I got it. If I can help somebody, let me be it, you know. So with further ado, you guys have a great rest of your day, and hopefully you have a blessed next day. And tomorrow is going to be better than the day before. The night is going to be better than the night before, and better days come, y'all.